from my experience, porn steals innocence.
hmm
Would you agree?
Yeah, my innocence was stolen time and time again, and every time I go back, it's stolen.
Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Hymology. Today, I am so excited to be speaking with Tyson Adams. Tyson is a men's coach who is raising the consciousness of men around men's sexuality. And I've been watching him secretly on Facebook for quite a while, and I love his message. I love what he's all about. I hope that you will also love him. And if you're seeing this video for the first time, I'm Shari James. I help men avoid ED medications, get off of them, or in some cases, get them to work with my holistic approach to healing erectile dysfunction. And if you want to know more about Tyson, his information is going to be in the description below. All right, so are you ready for the wisdom bomb?
I'm ready. Thanks, Sherry.
Okay, cool, cool. Unshaming porn. How to get out of the porn hole.
hmm
All
Yeah.
right, Tyson.
Yeah. So when I work with men, I do a lot of connection calls. And the very first thing that I ask is this. I say, hey, when you were coming from boyhood into manhood, did you have any sound elder masculine guidance to talk to you about sexuality, pornography, how to treat women, how to treat your body? What is a pleasure practice? What is masturbation for? Did you have anybody there? 99% of the men that find me, the answer is no. I then follow that up and I say, okay, so then let me ask you this question. When did you see pornography? And did you see it before you actually had a real connection with a real human being? And for 99% of the men that say yes to the first question, they often started or they often saw porn when they were young, in their 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years. And for 99% of them, the answer is yes. They saw pornography well before they had an actual real human experience with another person. And so for some men, that's 1 or 2 months. Other men, it's years. Some men, it's a decade. And so the reason why I start there is because I say, how much of that pornographic mindset and that porn that you've been absorbing through watching the screen gets woven up into the pressurized nervous system of those first experiences and to how we relate to sex as a whole. And when I say that to him, I say, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is I want to just say this because it's not your fault, it's not my fault, it's not any man's fault that we have challenges in sexuality, whether it's a porn addiction, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, performance anxiety, or any of the major things that men face, even, sort of gender related issues like who am I attracted to, who am I not, am I gay, am I straight, those types of things. And I say, so if any part of you is blaming yourself for the challenges that you're facing, I want to let you know that that's not actually what's happening here. This is a global cultural issue, and these porn companies have weaponized their AI bots and their technologies to commercialize our life force because the longer you're on the internet scrolling, the more likely your fat finger is going to click on an ad, and then that's how they get paid. So that's
Exactly.
where I start.
Perfect. I agree with you 100%. So for guys out there listening who don't know what you mean by life force, I know what you mean, but
Mhm.
can you say what you mean by life force?
Yeah, so you could look at this like from a physiological sense. So like what's in your seminal fluid, and the nutrients that are there, but also it's just your energy. I mean, when
Mhm.
you move out into the world, if you have just masturbated once or twice the day before, you don't have that magnetism, that spark to move into whatever it is that you're doing, whether that's as an employee or as a creator, as an entrepreneur, or as a person that wants to go up and say hello to somebody that you're attracted to. So life force could be seen from the energetic spiritual perspective, or it could be seem very physiological, but it's both and in my experience.
Without knowing the root causes of erectile dysfunction, you might as well just go ahead and throw your pills in the garbage. Contact me for your free video consult. Great, perfect. Yeah, I think that's a great explanation.
Mhm.
And you know a little bit of something about being in the porn hole, don't you?
I do, unfortunately, but yes, I was sucked in for 20 years. I first saw Playboy at 9. Shortly thereafter, around 12, my hometown got fiber wire put in, and there was a program called Kazaa, which was kind of like LimeWire or Napster, where you could just download internet porn because there was no browser porn at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't know what you were going to get. It was what I call the lottery of porn. So you search something, and then it shows the just the words, no thumbnail, and then you would download it, and then the file would be on your computer, and then you would click play, and you would just go on this wild journey. And as a 12-year-old, I was seeing, in retrospect, things that were too much, too fast, too soon for my nervous system, and things that were violent and inappropriate. And it created an arousal template where I eroticized things that were actually uncomfortable, anxious, anxiety provoking, things that were dangerous. And I didn't have anybody
Yeah, dopamine.
there. Exactly. The dopamine was hitting, and I didn't have anybody there to reflect, like, hey, um, is this something you even want to do? Does this feel good to you? Is this, and in my own journeys of doing therapy, it's like, no, I didn't want to see that. It was terrifying, and it was absolutely not appropriate for me at that age. So,
I would
yeah.
say that from my experience, porn steals innocence.
Hmm.
Would you agree?
Yeah. My innocence was stolen time and time again. And every time I go back, it's stolen. And the reason why I say that is because when you're watching something on the screen, you don't have any control of what the producers and the porn stars are going to do or say. There's no ability to have a boundary there. So the only thing you can do is click off of that video. But often it's too late. You've already seen what it is that they're going to show you. And so we're in this sort of boundaryless space when we're consuming pornography where it's programming us and we're seeing this, and then there's mirror neurons where we're seeing whatever's on the screen, including the shame that the porn stars hold, and we're actually eroticizing that and bringing it into our own system, and we don't even realize that we're doing so, and then we move out into the world from that frequency. So yeah.
Interesting. I have a weird philosophy that
Mhm.
porn stars are angels in disguise that are holding the collective shame for humanity.
Hmm.
So going
Mhm.
weird and deep with that one, but that's how I think. I often think, yeah, like depending
Yeah,
on when you're entering.
yeah,
So in either case, they are holding shame, whether it's their own or humanity's.
absolutely. And so David Bedrick is a mentor of mine. He wrote the book called The Unshaming Way. And what he's taught me about shame that's so brilliant is that where shame comes into the system is where we had silent witnesses. So what I mean, or what he means by that, and what I teach is that if we've been abused and then somebody is either not there, that's literally a silent witness, or
Yeah.
somebody that's just not there, or if somebody did see it or we went to tell them, where the shame comes in is where that witness dismisses it. Either that didn't happen, you're crazy, that didn't happen to you, it's no big deal, you deserved it, you know how he is, or whatever, right? So, where we have to attune to shame is understanding that when you're watching porn, there's nobody there to validate what your experience is at all. And so you're just in this secrecy, silence, and shame, absorbing whatever energetic is coming through the screen. And that's the individual world that we live in, and also the collective world that has now created the culture that we're in, which is obviously hypersexual.
I love that you said that. So if I ask clients, let's say that are married or have living girlfriends, I'm like, do you feel any shame or guilt about watching porn? They're like, no, not at all. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, what if you were watching it and your wife walked in? How would you
Mm.
feel? Because you know, oh, well then yeah, I would have it, right? Because
Mhm.
that goes exactly to what you just said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not an anti-porn guy in the sense that if you like porn and you're in a safe and secure relationship, I think there's a place where we can make sacred erotica, but that doesn't get uploaded to the internet. And that can be a very bonding and connective thing that people choose to do. But when you're thinking about a porn company, they don't care what your name is, your marital status or your religion or your job or how old you are. All they see is an IP address, and their aim and their goal is to keep you logged in, and they've commercialized your orgasms because if you're masturbating and you ejaculate, that's how they get you hooked, and that's how they can feed you an ad. And so we have to be able to say no. We have to be able to have an internal boundary to say no. And that also means that we're saying no internally simultaneously. And a lot of men are cut off from their no. And so they're just taking in and absorbing the program. And another way that I
The
help men,
program.
yeah, it's a
It's the
literally
sex,
brainwashing.
it's
Go
the
ahead.
sex industry, right?
Hmm.
It's sex that's been industrialized. It is
Exactly.
designed to manipulate men
Oh my God.
and
Absolutely. And
boys.
so what I encourage men to think about is this. So you're all grown up now. So I'm 40, but a lot of men, they're 40, 50, 60. I work with men that are in their 70s, are still addicted to porn. And I say, okay, well, what was going on when you were a teenager? Because that's when we found the porn. And so
Yeah.
what I say is were you bullied? Were you a pimply kid? Did your parents move? Did somebody die? Did you have a dad that was pressuring you? Did you get made fun of? Did you get called gay? Like, what are the actual stressors that teenage boys go through? And then they find the porn and masturbation as a way to feel better, a way to soothe. And it
Yeah.
works. It
Connect
works amazingly. But
until
now
it
you're all grown
doesn't.
up and you're still doing it and you're not that age anymore. And
Yeah. And
right?
now it's full-blown addiction. All right.
Yeah.
I think you stated the journey perfectly of being in the porn hole
Hmm.
and some questions for guys to ponder that are currently in the porn hole that are watching this. And I think Tyson and I would both invite you to really hopefully release shame that you're
Hmm.
feeling because you just didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not your fault. It's really not.
Hey, you. Hey, guy, who's learning about sexual health, mixed in with some Tantra, mixed in with some five elements of Chinese medicine and some Western medicine. I want to let you know something. I would love it if you would hit my subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, you're going to know when new content is posted.